Hey guys, it's Quinn, and today we're going to be taking a quick break from the fundraiser series to address some breaking spoiler news in the James Bond universe. According to leaked sources with access to casting calls, there's wide speculation, which appears to be completely accurate, that James Bond will have a daughter in the upcoming film No Time to Die. Before I give my personal thoughts, let me reference the thoughts of Britt Ekland, who played the marvelously thick-skulled Mary Goodnight in the disastrous 1974 Bond adventure The Man with the Golden Gun. Asked by Good Morning Britain about this explosive revelation, Miss Ekland stated that she thought that making Bond a family man would ruin the series. Although I wouldn't necessarily go that far, I never thought I would say this. I largely agree with Mary Goodnight on this one. As longtime viewers know, I've gone on meticulous explanations several times about my thoughts on what the James Bond series is all about. In short, it's a fantasy. It's supposed to be somewhat detached from reality, where people can just sit back and imagine what life would be like if they had just no responsibilities. You can go out and be a super spy. Have a drink, go gambling a little, get dressed up, have some fun. The closest people get to experiencing this is just going to Vegas and losing all their money. So why on earth would you throw into this fold the very thing which is the antithesis of running wild, which is being a parent? Now, before I go any further, I just want to make it clear. The idea of a spy also being a parent, I think is a really good idea. It's something that I don't think we've really seen before. You can make an argument that Taken has done it, but it's a little different for, clear reasons. And because of that, it's a film I'd definitely go see. You could do really cool thematic discussions about loyalty and responsibility. You could have a lot of really fun takes on work-life balance while also just having insane action sequences and espionage thrown into the middle of it. So on a blank slate, I think it's a great concept. Which is why it should be its own concept. It should be its own film. It doesn't have a place in the Bond universe or the very essence of the series. And what makes the films honestly fun to watch in the first place is because there's no strings attached. There's no responsibility aspect to it. Now, some may counter, and I think rightfully so, that many of the great Bond films, you look at Honor Her Majesty's Secret Service, Casino Royale, Skyfall, you could maybe throw in like a License to Kill in there, are in large part great because Bond has to care for someone else. And that's very fair. But let's be honest with ourselves. I really only see this film going one of two directions. And this is pretty brutal, so just run with me. You either go the route that all of those prior films went, where the person Bond cares about dies in the end of the film. If that happens, well then, shit, we've already seen this film several times. The other route is that the kid isn't killed off. And then what? Is it Bond plus his child in every subsequent film? Is Bond forced to retire and that's just the end of the series? If we lay out these two options, which, listen, I get it's more talking about a 5-year-old kid like this, but I'm just being straightforward here. It's a movie. Calm down. It's either Bond's kid does or doesn't make it out of the film. If that's the case, then the film's just naturally constricted to those really two polar opposites. In which case, where do you go with it? Bond either fails, which we've seen before, or Bond succeeds, and now we're stuck in this sort of bizarre dynamic where Bond is responsible for a kid in every future film. Again, though, this all just comes back to my main point, which is this is a great idea. It should be its own film. It should be its own film. And I'm very skeptical of how this can play into the franchise long run. Listen, I have a lot of faith in Barbara Broccoli. People who watch this channel know I love her. But I'm just very cautious that this franchise and the film in many ways is jumping the shark with this film. If this is actually true, what's coming in this film, you're constricting the plot in my eyes, and depending on how the film goes down, you're constricting the franchise overall. There is one little element I do want to talk about, and this is just a bold prediction, but if this actually comes to fruition, I'm going to be stunned. So, because of how this film plays out, and how the timeline of it all, it's pretty clear to me that Madeline Swan is not going to be the mother of this child, which means that the child's going to come from some woman in the past. What would be absolutely crazy if the Rami Malek character turns out to be Bond's kid from back in the day, and now he's grown up and is just angry as hell at his father, and that's the whole plot of this film. You know what? Hats off. Everything I just said, I'll shut up. That was brilliant. Now, because this film is in uncharted territories for a myriad of reasons, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on what do you guys think about Bond having a child in this film, as well as a lot of the other elements of what they're doing in Bond 25. As such, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.